Fare il servizio civile in Italia e mandare lo stesso per un piccolo periodo all'estero, e questo quanto è possibile con il nuovo Servizio Civile Universale, che appunto prevede la possibilità di scrivere i progetti per l'Italia, ma appunto fino a 3 mesi in un altro paese dell'Unione Europea. Oggi è davvero un momento importante perché siamo con i partner europei che andranno effettivamente ad ospitare i volontari in servizio civile, quindi in altri paesi dell'Unione Europea. Siamo quindi con José María di Building Bridges from Spain. Thanks for being here.
De nada.
And with Donatas Versecas from Tavo Europa from Lithuania. Thanks for being here.
Well,
and of course with Sebastiano Miele, that is the Italian from Come Pensiamo, Associazione Come Pensiamo, that is the Italian organization that will send volunteers abroad. Thanks
Hello.
for being here. First of all, welcome everyone to another episode of Civitas. And without further ado, let's start with asking to Sebastiano Miele if you think that the Italian organization will actually take this opportunity of designing this project and sending actually the volunteers abroad, or it will be just few organizations doing this kind of activities.
I really hope so. So I can speak for my experience. Why we started with this idea of a civilian service abroad? We founded this organization, Come Pensiamo, that means the way we think, in order to give opportunities to young people and to all people with some kind of disadvantage, people with fewer opportunities. But how we wanted to do this, to give this opportunity, with making some experiences, observing reality, because we are anthropologists also, and we consider very important to observe the reality, and where we can give, we could give these opportunities, wherever in the world, in Europe first of all, because we personally had this opportunity to participate in full of mobilities in programs abroad, and we very appreciated that. So we started to work in this kind of program, mobilities, Europe, Erasmus Plus program, and we knew lots of partners all around Europe, like Jose, like Donatas, and their organizations. So we established connections with them. In the same time, we worked in Italy on civilian service, me and my colleagues. Me also, I had 15 years ago an experience of civilian service abroad in Burundi, in the heart of Africa. And I like this very, very much. So we think, why not take this opportunity to start with civilian service abroad? So we choose some good partners we had already in Erasmus programs, and we start the idea of making this kind of projects. So we accredited this the organization and all the partners, and we choose the partners that had the same idea of us, of Europe, of citizenship, of active citizenship. And this year, for the first time, we could apply for 2 projects abroad. One is a normal one, let's say one wall here abroad, and is a project we called soft skills, Spain, France, Turkey, sustain knowledge, integration, leadership in learning society, and some volunteers will be host in Spain, for example, in this project. And another project we applied is called Peace, Education, Active Citizenship in Europe, or we like acronyms, as you can see. And for this project, the volunteers could be host with this new kind of civilian service project for 3 months in Lithuania, for example, or in Germany and Greece that are part of this project. But the large part of project will be in Italy, in Emilia-Romagna, where we works. And we are very happy to have here a representative of this organization that will host for the first time one of our projects for 3 months abroad. That is a very new kind of civilian service, because in the years civilian service was just or in Italy or abroad. And I really hope that all the organization, as you said before, there are lots of little organization like us. We are not a very big organization, but we had experience on civilian service, because civilian service, if you want to do it abroad, it needs lots of competencies in order to apply and to manage the project. So we are very happy to have partners like this that we choose also because they have big experience in hosting volunteers and in European programs. So we really are confident that they can give a very good opportunity to our Italian volunteers, and the exchanges from between us would be always better.
So thanks, Sebastiano, and thanks for putting this effort in making the Italian civil service better. So let's go to our European partner and friends. Let's start with Donatas from Tavo Europa, Lithuania. So I would like to ask you the following question. Europe is closer than ever. It is easy and cheap to travel, though many young people actually don't do that, or if they do, just for a few days with their friends. So they don't actually experience a different culture, and they don't actually live abroad. So I would like to ask you why it is important to live abroad, and why it is important for creating a European identity and culture.
Yeah, as you mentioned, I think for a young person living abroad, experience is essential, because that will allow you as well try to first steps abroad on your own, start your own life, new chapter in life, as well as it would give you, let's say, decent shock for you to understand whether it's for you or you should maybe stick better to your country. However, I think everyone must experience that. I say this because I'm myself. I was I'm former EVS volunteer. I did my EVS 6 years ago in Ukraine, in Donetsk, just before the war started. So I feel that I'm really aware of how important is active citizenship and unity and sense of community and belongingness. I think this would be a great opportunity for a young person to try his position in labor market in Italy, and then go on international arena, to go to Lithuania or Germany or Spain, to try themselves out in the new environment. 3 months is a decent amount of time to understand and to try to adapt yourself into different cultural environment. I think this is a great chance for both for communities that will be hosting the volunteer from civil service from Italy, and as well for the volunteer, because we see it not only as exchange for them, we see it already as exchange for us, because we would be really happy to cherish Italian culture here and to understand it better, the environment and the mood there is, especially in these uncertain times, that people lose connection bit by bit, slowly, or connections are not so tight as it was before. So despite the fact that this would be a chance to increase the employment opportunities, and to clarify career paths as well. We see this as a great chance to build up a stronger connection between communities from different countries, and as well to share the culture of Lithuanian culture and Italian culture.
Thank you very much, and thanks also for taking this challenge of hosting the Italian Civil Service volunteers. So let's go to Spain with Jose Maria Building Bridges. So you will host your first civil service volunteers very soon, but again, you already have a big experience with EVS, European Solidarity Corps. So the biggest difference probably between these programs, these European programs, and the Italian civil service is that when a girl or a boy decides to apply for EVS or European Solidarity Corps, they already made up their mind to go abroad and to live in another country. In the Italian civil service, it's different. They actually decide to just work or do the service in Italy, but then suddenly they will find themselves in another European country. So it's a bit of a different decision at first place. So probably, at the beginning, especially if it is the first experience, people are often a bit scared of, going abroad, living abroad, not being able to communicate with other international volunteers, and so on. So I would like you, and this will be for sure the case for many of the volunteers with the Italian Civil Service volunteer, but that's the great value, I think, for our program to start doing this kind of exchanges. So I would like to ask you, in your experience, did you see this, mind change of volunteers starting being a bit scared, and then at the end really embracing the idea of being international, speaking a foreign language, and being with people from other countries?
For sure. We've, like you said, while we haven't hosted, but we will, the civil volunteering, we have had a lot of experience with other programs, and you very clearly see that curve. It's our job as receiving agencies to be prepared for that, to make sure that we have a good system for support for the volunteer, be it with mentors, tutors. So, we have experience in that, but it's great to see them sort of, land on that support and then start finding their way. There's a very famous curve that we all follow, which is, sort of the volunteer's journey. They arrive on a high, it's a new country, it's a new experience, but then they might start, going down a little bit, and because they're realizing that there are challenges, obviously. And this doesn't matter if the cultures are very similar or very, different. It's always the same. So for example, with Italy and Spain, you could say that we're very similar, but for every similarity, there's two differences. So it happens as well. And, it's great to track them through that journey and be there for them. And I think that internationalization, that you say, they're used to the program being one thing, and now it's going to have the option of another thing. I think that's the challenge, but that's also going to be the opportunity, sort of, the selling point. Because as Donato said, and as Sebastiano said, this is our mission. This is, one of our pillars is the free movement of people, ideas, not just goods. And I think them going through this change and experiencing that in a different country brings out a very specific soft skill, and that's empathy. And you might not, realize that when they're on the experience, but when they go back home and they encounter somebody who is not of their culture, who is not from their country, they realize that they can put themselves in the shoes of that person. And that creates a little bit of a social shift, if you will, in how we view tolerance through empathy. And then it becomes acceptance and welcoming. So I think it's a very interesting, shift in this program. to make it an international opportunity. It's great that obviously, our first step is going to be European countries, but I hope that branches out, to other continents and subcontinents of the world, because I just think that's exactly what Europe is. It is that aggregate of experience. It's not just each country on its own. And to start including cultures from, even further away, I think it's going to make us a more complete society. And I look forward to being part of that change. And I really, appreciate Sebastiano, who has always, who has been with us for this journey for a while, and who has had us in mind to welcome us and to help us be part of this. So really looking forward to it, and to hopefully having another interview where we're talking about the success of the program.
For sure, thanks. I think we'll hear again once you have the Italian civil service volunteers with you. So thanks again to Sebastiano for taking the effort of designing these projects with the 3 months abroad. And thanks to you, Jose Maria and Donatas, for taking the challenge of hosting this new type of volunteers. Thank you for the effort and for really improving, I think, our Italian civil service, and thus also creating a more united and better Europe. So thanks again to all of you, and yeah, we'll see again once you have the volunteers. Thanks to all of you that followed us throughout this interview, and yeah, let's see you again next time with the Italian civil service volunteers abroad in Europe. Thanks again.
Thank you very much.